Let's talk about risk. But what if I told you that everything you think you know about it is probably wrong? We're taught that risk is a number you calculate, a variable you solve for. But the truth is, for traders who survive, risk isn't math. It's a belief system, it's a religion. And we're going to dive right into what that means.
This quote from Nassim Nicholas Taleb, it's really the cornerstone of this entire idea. We get so caught up in trying to maximize our gains on every single trade, but that's all just noise. The only thing that truly matters is making sure you don't get wiped out. The goal isn't just to make a profit, it's to avoid ruin, period.
So that leads us to the million-dollar question, right? We all know the grim statistics. We've all heard the horror stories. If everyone knows risk management is important, why do so many traders still end up blowing up their accounts? Well, the answer is that they're following the wrong religion. To really get this, you have to see trading not as a set of strategies, but as a clash between two competing belief systems. And every single decision you make, whether you know it or not, is guided by one of these two faiths.
So on one side, you've got the religion of aggressive growth. This is the flashy one. Its goal is to get rich quick. Its heroes are the folks who bet the farm and got lucky once. Then, on the other side, you have the religion of survival first. Its goal is much simpler. Just stay in the game. Its heroes are the ones you've never heard of because they've been quietly compounding their capital for decades. Spoiler alert, only one of these paths actually leads to long-term success.
So why is that aggressive growth path such a complete trap? Well, the answer lies in this really fascinating, kind of mind-bending concept from physics that almost no one in trading talks about. It's called ergodicity.
It sounds super technical, but here's the simplest way to think about it. What happens to a group of 100 people trying something one time is completely different from what happens to one person, that's you, trying something 100 times in a row. And that difference? Well, that difference is everything.
Okay. Let's make this dead simple with a little game. Imagine I offer you a bet on a coin flip. Heads, you win 50% of your money. Tails, you only lose 40%. Now, on average, this is a fantastic bet. It has a positive expected value. You should take this deal all day long, right? Let's say you start with 100 rupees.
So let's play. First flip, it's heads. Awesome. Your 100 rupees just turned into 150. You're feeling pretty smart. The system works.
But the second flip, it's tails. So you lose 40%. But wait, it's 40% of your new capital, the 150. And 40% of 150 is 60. So 150 minus 60 leaves you with 90 rupees. Hold on a second. What just happened here?
And that is the ergodicity trap, right there in front of you. You took a good bet. You won as many times as you lost, and yet you're somehow down 10%. It feels wrong, but it's just cold, hard math. The path you take through time is multiplicative, and losses hurt you way more than gains help you. And this chart shows you just how brutal that math is. You know, a 10% loss only requires an 11% gain to get back to even. Not too bad. But a 50% loss? You need to double your money, 100% gain, just to break even. The deeper a hole you dig, it gets exponentially harder to climb out. Okay, so if our intuition about good bets can lead us straight to ruin, how do we ever survive? Well, thankfully, a brilliant information theorist named John Kelly Jr. figured this out for us way back in the 1950s. He literally created a formula for survival. It's called the Kelly Criterion, and it's a game changer because it answers the single most important question a trader has. Not what to bet on, but how much to bet. What percentage of your capital should you risk on any one idea to get the fastest growth over the long run without blowing up? But, and this is a really big but, there's a catch. The Kelly formula is perfect if your inputs are perfect. The thing is, in the real world, you never know your exact win rate or your exact edge. You're always just estimating. And if you're even a little too optimistic with your guess and you use the full Kelly formula, you go broke. It actually guarantees it.
So here's the real secret. This is what the pros actually do. They use what's called fractional Kelly. They calculate the so-called optimal bet size, and then they deliberately bet less, usually half. And here's the magic. Betting half of the Kelly amount gets you about 75% of the long-term growth, but with only 50% of the gut-wrenching volatility. It's the ultimate trade-off for survival. Okay, so this brings us to the professional mindset. Knowing how much to bet is the core of it all. But real risk management isn't just one rule. It's a complete, multi-layer defense system. It's a fortress. Let's walk through the walls of that fortress.
Level 1 is trade risk. This is the one everybody knows. Never risk more than 1 or 2% of your capital on a single trade. This is your first line of defense. It means no single bad idea can ever knock you out of the game. It's the foundation, but it's only the start.
Next, you've got level 2, session risk. This is your daily loss limit. This rule saves you from yourself. It's the circuit breaker that stops a few bad trades from turning into a catastrophic day of revenge trading. You hit your max loss for the day, you turn off the screen. End of story.
Level 3 is drawdown risk, because sometimes a bad day turns into a bad week or even a bad month. Pros have a rule. If they enter a drawdown, they automatically cut their position size. This stops that death spiral we talked about. You protect what you have left by trading smaller. Then there's level 4, systemic risk. This one is tough. This is where you have to ask the really hard question. Has the game changed? Has my edge disappeared? Pros have a built-in process to step back and analyze if their entire strategy just doesn't work anymore. And finally, level 5, existential risk. We're talking about the true black swans. Your broker goes bankrupt. A regulator suddenly changes the rules. These are the things that could end your career no matter how well you trade. It's about thinking through the truly unthinkable.
So when you put all this together, the ergodicity trap, the Kelly Criterion, this multi-layered defense system, what do you get? It's more than just a list of rules. It's a whole new way of looking at the world. It's a new religion, and it's all about survival.
And here's the creed, the core tenets of this survival-first religion. Number 1, survival comes before everything else. It's the prerequisite for any other goal you might have. 2, your position size, how much you bet, is the most important decision you will ever make. It's more important than your entry. And 3, a long-term mindset isn't just a nice-to-have, it's your single greatest edge.
And this quote from the legendary investor Seth Klarman really brings it all home. At the end of the day, your greatest edge isn't being smarter or faster. It's simply structuring every single decision around one goal, staying in the game long enough for your real edge to actually play out. Because the only way to win is to ensure you get to keep playing.